Enough about that. Let's talk about last week. So Hot Toys showed us the Iron Man Neon Tech. It is officially up for pre-order on Sideshow. The price is $640, releasing January to June 2023, so a big 2-quarter window there. I did see photos of this at the Shanghai showcase, and I do think it has certainly a presence to it, but man, that is 640 is a lot of money, and I don't think this is for me. And I think that's really all I can say about that. What about you, Dean?
Um, yeah, this is kind of. I've always thought the neon techs were goofy. This one is especially goofy because that means, like I said last time, he redid his whole gantry just to match this neon tech suit. So I think, I think it's just, it's just kind of lame to me. I don't know. I have nothing positive to say about neon techs ever. So
Yeah, for me, if I was gonna go pick up a gantry, I'd have to go back and pick up the original one. Because unless you're a completist, I can't see having this as representation of the gantry in the collection without having the original one. It's a nice artistic take, but at 640, I think this is going to be, at least in the North American market, it's going to be heavily discounted afterwards. Because I can't see this selling out quickly at that price
Yeah,
point.
you'd have to assume it's going to the bargain bin. And, this is easy for me to say because this is something that I'm not interested in, but this is one they really should have kept exclusive for overseas. Like, if that's the market that it sells better in, keep it exclusive over there, add some rarity to it. Because, these sit so much, like John was just saying, these sit so hard on the sites here that what are you saying? That the thing that was holding back the previous release of this was that it wasn't like expensive enough and it needed a gantry. Like, something doesn't add up considering that this isn't very popular here. So they should have just kept it exclusive and gone from there.
Martin K in the chat says someone out there has all the Neon Tech collection and is super happy about this. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I actually like that point. Of all the points that I've seen and heard today, I'm relatively positive about this one. I think if they had kept this as like strategically a Hong Kong only release, then people here probably would have wanted it even more. Because
Right,
then
Ben,
it's like
exactly.
you always want what you can't have, right? Now that they've made it available, it's like, well, do I want to spend the money? Probably not. Do I think this looks cool? 100%. If I wanted a neon tech, or if I was going to dive down that line, I like the look of this particular armor set, so I think that's really cool. And I like this color blue. Of the other neon tech coloration that we've seen, this is actually still my favorite coloration. Will this come to me? Definitely not. Like, it's just not for my collection. But the only thing that I would say, it does still seem like a really high price. And if it's not necessarily for everybody, I would be worried that it would sit for a while then as a result. In which case, we may end up seeing some bargain bins down the line, like Marco said. So if you're on the fence with this one, but you don't have to have it, it might be an advantageous gamble to kind of wait and see if it comes down a little bit and make it a little more palatable for your own collection.
Definitely. Another update from last week, Cobb Vanth Hot Toys did post some additional photos. I think the portrait's the same, but they did kind of show that you can remove the armor, which I don't. It's been a while since I've had a Hot Toys Boba Fett type figure. So this is neat. I don't know that you could do this on the regular Boba Fett, or at least not easily. But this was a look that he did rock in the show quite a bit. So a little bit more bang for the buck. I still think it's too overpriced for what you get, and I don't think in any way, shape, or form this would be coming to my collection. But if you like this figure, you get a little bit more of a display option for your collection, and I think it's important that you know that.
Zach, on the points of if the armor could be removed from the other Boba Fett release from Mandalorian, it can. And so I think people were speculating before these photos
Okay.
dropped, like, oh, maybe it can come off just as easily.
Gotcha.
So it seems like they
Gotcha.
didn't have to do too much engineering to make this happen.
Wow.
I I would really want this figure after seeing these photos, but god damn it, dude, $300, just no way. I'm gonna wait for this thing to get hella cheap before I jump on it because like, I know you get all the Boba Fett armor that comes with it, but like looking at this, like this is how I'm going to display it. This is not worth $300. He's in a t-shirt and has like a scarf. Cool. Like, it's just not a $300 figure. Like, even if they fix the head sculpt, it's just not.
What if they did a $250 release with just this, and then the $300 version one came with the armor? Would you be interested at all?
I mean, 250 is cheaper, but then it's like, okay, I don't get the armor, so I get a few hands and a pistol. Like, that's not worth $250 either. You know, like it'd have to be way cheaper. I'm talking like 210.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know, and
Those days are long gone.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's
So the head
just,
sculpt.
even at 250, it's just not there for me. But it does look cool. I do like the fact that you could have this look, because really, if you put him with Cad Bane, this is how he's supposed to look, right? If you want to do that scene, so I do like it. We're too far apart on the price.
This is a definite. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you were going to say that, Dean, only because I would have said 240, and I think this would have been more likely to come to my collection. If you'd got the Boba Roba 2-pack, and then you had the option to get this guy, and with the armor that's able to come off of that bird ship Boba, like, I think it would have been cool to then have all 3 figures in your collection, and you could, construct the look of him having the armor on, or have this look in your collection, but not necessarily be forced into having basically 2 identical armor sets in your collection that, if you want this look, it ends up having to sit in the box. It just seems like almost like a waste, not of money, even just like a waste of their efforts and the materials, so that's a little shitty. I like the head sculpt more in these photos. Oddly enough, I think the likeness is almost like, even though it's the same sculpt as we saw last week, I feel like in this look, I see the Bob Vanth character a little bit more. Question for you guys though, because I don't have a lot of figures that have scarves. Like, are we worried about the red color pigmentation transference on the neck, or do you think that wouldn't necessarily happen with this material?
You should definitely be worried.
Yeah,
about that.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. Good to know.
What were you going to say, John?
Yeah, it's a plus. It's a plus. Last week we were talking about 300 being too much. 300 is still a lot, but at least this is moving in the right direction and we're having options. Last week we had no options. This week, at least it's a plus and moving in the right direction. The portrait, that portrait needs to be at that price point perfection. I can't take a 75%. We've said it already. I do like that the armor is removable, and you could get that the Cad Bane look now, but just a little bit tweaking on that portrait, and to get it to at least a 95%, and 300 will still be a lot, but where I think 300 will be warranted on this is if this was to kind of go up and it sells out right away, like kind of limited, then you're going to see people not give a rat's ass about the 300 and they're going to jump on it. I think if they made the tweaks, this goes up, waitlisted, I think people are going to get behind this figure. Because people, there's a lot of collectors out there that are completionists. And they're going to want the Mando line. They're going to want everything Star Wars. Star Wars is hot now. And they're going to want to complete the collections. So I can see this going, but I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole with that portrait.
Truer words never spoken. Hot Toys did also show off the Inquisitor's team, and I just really hate this portrait for Dean. Is this the third brother here to the left of the Inquisitor, to the right of the Inquisitor?
I think it's the 5th brother.
5th brother, thank you. This portrait looks absolutely terrible. Compared to how good the other 3 portraits are, it looks bad.
Bro, I thought the same thing, so I looked him up on Google. He kind of looks like dog shit in the show. Like,
no, not like this bad, bro. This
I don't know, dude. Pull it up. I was
I'll pull
like,
it up right now.
I thought the same thing, and then I was like, oh.
Bro, if this looks like dog shit.
Go ahead, John.
No, I was just gonna say, if this looks like dog shit, man, you can't even talk about the last portrait.
No, okay. I said on the show he looks like
No,
dog shit.
I'm just
I
I'm saying
love that
Zach.
actor.
Zach's saying the likeness is off. I say, if the likeness is off on this, my God, the other one you can't even.
Yeah.
Because the other three Inquisitors look like real people, and then he looks like a caricature or like a rendering or something. It doesn't look like an actual photorealistic.
Okay, so
sculpt.
I'm looking.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I'm gonna combine, or not combine, but I'm gonna put them side by side.
You said Mortal Kombat, John?
Yes, sir.
I think the
hilarious.
eyes are too. I don't know. I feel like they're just too small. I think I don't know what it is. It just doesn't look right to me. All right, let's pull this back up. What do you think? I think it's the tone, and I think it's the eyes that do it for me. I don't.
And his face is a lot rounder in the show too. This is like too
Yeah.
slender.
And his build, he seems a bit too small here. I remember him being a little bit bulkier in the show. But damn, these other portraits, holy Jesus. This might be, if they can fix the fifth brother, this might be one of the best ensemble that Hot Toys has done in a while. Especially if they release all four of them.
What's the female's name? Not Reva, but
Let me look it up real quick. I think it's the third sister.
Captain
maybe?
30
Okay.
seconds in the show.
that's the thing. Like she's not in the show at all. But
no, that's Reva.
the figure looks cool. Like that interests me a lot.
She's in
for
the
some
background.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in the show. She was on the base.
Yeah.
Fairly quick.
Yeah, like very.
She gives some evil look signaling.
Yeah, I think she's got like
Hate to see
4
it.
speaking lines of the whole show.
But she looks sick.
Big family though.
Jesus Christ. I'm trying to look it up. I'm like seventh sister, eighth sister, ninth sister. Jesus Christ.
I think she might be the... Because they're... Other than Reva, these are all the characters from Rebels, aren't they?
Oh, so maybe this is the seventh sister then.
I
think you may be
believe it
right.
is. She just has a different hat in...
No, it's the
Rebels.
fourth sister. The
DJ
fourth
saying
sister.
fourth sister. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you, DJ. And
Same with Lane.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Lane's usually wrong, so...
No, he's not. He's a sweet boy.
Whoa, what
Was.
is this?
Was. Hot Toys, oh my god, they put out 3 Black Adams. Let's see, we got the Black Adam regular going for $300, which I don't really know how I feel about this character. It really just feels like I'm just watching like I think Dwayne The Rock Johnson is just always playing Dwayne The Rock Johnson in anything that he does, and the fact that in the deluxe version, which is 360,
They give
both
you
of these by the
brow.
way, October to March 2023, is giving you the people's eyebrow. I don't want to see that shit in a movie. Like, I'm sorry, I saw that shit in the Scorpion King. I don't need to see that shit in Black Adam. I don't know.
This will sell well.
I don't know how to feel about this, honestly. And I think the diorama base is really strong. I think, to me, that this is like probably one of the better bases that they've done recently. You can almost use it as a little bit of a throne, seen here. I just don't know. This is the golden armor version, so you get that gold, get a different, little bit of a different texture there. But I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. They made a new body for this, and I'll let you guys talk about this.
did
But
they?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't think this body's particularly good, especially if they're making a new body and kind of showing
Yeah.
it to us like this. I don't think that they've really done it justice here.
Zach,
What do you
I
guys
think
think
that's
about
my
it?
big issue with it as well. It's like the proportions look comical, and like they kind of needed to nail that in order to have the whole likeness of the Rock. And the face, we talk about the colors, or excuse me, the paint that they use. It looks off as well. Like it's not leading to a lifelike sculpt for me. It's like the baseline actual sculpt looks fine, but overall when it comes together, it almost looks like he doesn't have eyebrows in this right hand picture. And for some reason, this figure is not coming together particularly well for me. That being said, if I really like the movie, and I see kind of, in-hand pictures of this may come to the collection, but we know InArt's going to be doing one of these as well. And I'm seeing a lot of room where they can improve. So if their release is like significantly stronger, this is another one where they could really be challenging Hot Toys big time.
Did they confirm Black Adam for InArt?
Oh yeah, they're
Oh
doing it.
wow,
It's on their
Okay, wow.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Hot Toys' second outing doing The Rock. I believe the first one was the G.I. Joe movie.
Yep.
Not particularly a great likeness to The Rock, I think. This one, I think they nailed it. I think they fucking nailed the portrait. That's about the only positive thing I have to say about this figure. The suit is absolutely gonna hinder the articulation on this new body, because the body's bulky enough, so the articulation is not going to be great to begin with. In fact, you could see it in some of the photos where his arms were raised. Like, there's just not enough shoulder to get. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
The suit pulls down on the arm anyway, and so you're just not getting a ton of range there. It does look like it has double jointed elbows, which kind of surprises me. I would figure it wouldn't, just based on how muscular this body's going to be. I do think it's cool that they did do its own unique body. But yeah, it looks very like, I don't want to say it looks bad because it doesn't. I think the nature of the design of the character and the Rock's physique doesn't lend well to a good figure. I think that, and that's not Hot Toys' fault. I think whatever they did to bring this figure to life, I think they did well. But that's it.
Ninja.
Indeed, on the posability portion, that lightning bolt kind of has a special material, they're saying, for it to light up, right? So that might be even further limiting how much you can crunch this thing.
Yeah, and that means the batteries and the lights got to be somewhere, right? So probably in the figure.
It's a USB powered.
Yeah, so there's no ab crunch or fucking, So this thing, it probably just looks good when you pose him up on the shelf and leave him alone. I think in hand, this figure is going to be a nightmare. Hopefully I'm wrong. It looks cool. I don't know.
Ninja Squirrel says he has zero acting ability, all about his look and goody catchphrases. Unbelievable how much money he made from films and injustice to true characters, and says a lot about modern society.
I mean, it's not like he's a bad guy. He's a pretty nice dude.
Oh, I have nothing against him personally. Just not a talented actor.
Oh, I know, but what was that last thing he said? Where was that comment?
Yeah.
Just move on.
In regards to this figure, so I think this is a good figure in the sense that it's an improvement. They've done a lot of things here. They're bringing a lot to the plate. Go back to that picture for just 1 second. One thing caught my eye. See that where the neck is? Is that a vein?
I thought it was a mold line, but it is. I believe
it's
it's
a
a
vein.
vein.
It's a vein, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because when I saw that, I was like, but the light up feature's cool. USB, yada yada yada. I don't think this is innovation. I know they brought a new body, so yeah, maybe in that area a little bit innovative. But I don't know. I'm not happy with the suit. I haven't obviously handled the figure at all, but I'm feeling like I'm getting that same feeling with that rubber suit, like Dean was saying. When you raise the arms, you can see it a little bit here. I can see right under his left arm there that's going to be a little bit of a pressure area, and I don't think that you're going to be able to display him well with a pose like that for a long amount of time. I do think when he's suspended in the air with the cape draped over, amazing job they did. Prime 1 did a statue as well. Reminds me of that. The portrait looks good. Night and day from the last release. So I come back to it and I say, at 300, we're getting a new body. We're getting a base. We're getting a great portrait. We're getting a USB light up function. 300. Meanwhile, Cobb Vanth is 300 and we're getting a half-assed portrait and a lanky body.
Is that because they have competition on this one, John? Like they've got to be competitively priced.
Ooh, that's a good point.
That's a point.
That's
that
a
could be a
solid point.
That's
One
a good
thing
point.
also, just to clarify, the $300 version comes with that standard hexagon base, the 360s where you see the
Yeah.
like this-
no, but
this
you're
base
getting the USB,
integrated.
correct?
I believe so. I'll double check.
I think it might be just the base. That's
I think
not.
both are.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you
Double
guys
check.
this. is because they make it a point that says a new fabric.
Yeah, you get the
Like-
USB on the $300.
Okay, perfect.
So is the fabric lighting up like we see in like the Tron movies, or is it just the fabric's translucent, the LED is shining through it?
I think it's
Probably
coming
number
through.
2, right?
Yeah, it's a specialized fabric allowing LED lighted emblem function. So I think the emblem beneath
Underneath.
it is
Underneath
lit
it,
up.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the fabric is sort of transparent
of
or
it.
semi-opaque. Yeah.
But it looks cool when it's not lit up as well, right?
I mean, it doesn't look bad, I don't think.
Okay, let me double check. Now they're saying there's no USB on the non-deluxe. So let's go
Really?
to the deluxe.
Double check that.
It just. Oh, hang on.
What does
Okay,
Sideshow
so
say?
that one does say deluxe. I think you boys may be right. Yeah. So it says powered effect, but it doesn't say USB on the collector's edition. The deluxe does say for both the deluxe versions that it is USB as well. So
But that makes
thank
so
you
they're
for
gonna
that, Moose Stream.
so they're gonna make the non-deluxe battery operated and deluxe
Which seems like an
weird
unnecessarily.
because it's
But also you're making it so that the Australian collectors basically can only get the $360
Yeah, exactly.
version. If you're, it may be an oversight.
I was only giving it
it
as an example to see what you're getting out of this box compared to
Yeah, no, that's
this
a good,
figure we were
especially because they're so close to each other.
But I wish they'd innovate a little bit more with these plastic like lighting effects that we've seen for Whiplash and Palpatine and all of them. I'd like to see some more innovation there where they can maybe physically light up or just something, because I'm getting tired of those. Although I think this is a well done figure. Before I pull the trigger on this, I'd want to watch the movie first though, just to see how.
It's a great point because you don't know if the gold suit is the main suit in the movie, the black suit's only for a few scenes, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Mafia says, I would wait for Inart's reveal before making a decision. Also find it out 3 weeks before the movie. They announce, plus there's a review embargo of the film as well, never a good sign. So
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like 18 days away seems like that would have been honestly worth the wait for
I didn't
like
realize it was coming
for
out
people
so
to
soon.
for 18 days. People could have walked into a theater, come out, and ordered this like that day, right? If they loved the film. I think for me, it always worries me with The Rock. I think you guys nailed it. I was hoping to see a Black Adam movie, not necessarily a Rock playing the Black Adam, if that makes sense. But I think at the same time, the guy drives revenue like crazy, and DC has been having a bit of a hard time in the last little while, with the exception of some films like Shazam, right? Shazam has done pretty well. Shazam 2 is also around the corner. I think this might drive a little bit of hype for Shazam. When we saw the teaser image for this guy, I was like, oh no, don't Shazam us again, right? And then they came out with it, within about a week. So I think this guy will pair really well. He also would probably pair really, really well with the black suit Superman. I think that could be a really cool looking display if you wanted. Again, probably won't be necessarily movie canon, but just display wise, I think that could be really cool. I think
You
it
never
really
know,
look like
Ben.
The Rock. Right? Yeah, cross fingers. It might be a real cool inclusion, right? To see Cavill in there potentially. I think the figure itself looks pretty decent, but because we haven't got a blue line on this anyway yet, or by any stretch, then I would wait, like Six Sail Mafia was saying, like wait to see what the Inart at least comes out with, because if that one blows us all out of the water and you do end up loving the movie, then you're going to end up being able to justify maybe an extra little bit of money for that next figure in line. The one thing that I found confusing about this release was just how many SKUs came with it, right? I mean, I know it's only 3, but for me, it kind of diluted the water a little bit. I found it hard to then kind of choose, like you were saying, which suit is most prevalent in the film.
that's a great segue, Ben.
Meat on the bone, Ben.
If
Meat
it-
on the bone.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let me stop you there, Ben. Let me stop you there.
Okay, sounds good.
One thing with the Inart, I guess the good thing is we don't have to worry about a rooted version for the Inart, so that's great.
Jeez, maybe his eyebrows.
Dean, your 60 seconds on the clock. Are too many options in this case? We have 3 different SKUs for this DX Black Adam. In the past, we've seen timed exclusives, timed regular, timed deluxe. You're looking at 4 to 6 SKUs on figures sometimes. Are more options better for us collectors, or can too many options cause paralysis by analysis?
The problem lies with the fact that the movie is not out yet. More options is always better. But if you don't know which version of the suit you like best or figure, whatever it is, you can't make that decision right away. So it can be a problem. In this case, it is. Like Ben said, we don't know what suit is more prevalent in the movie. Maybe that doesn't bother you. Maybe you like, I don't like the way the black looks. I think the gold pops better. Then absolutely, just do what your heart tells you to do. But in this case, it is a bad thing. But like I said, 9 times out of 10, more options, always better. Go with your gut. And if you make a mistake, hey, there's more figures out there to get because there's more SKUs. So don't sweat it.
Right there on the money, Dean. 2 points for the hot seat. Well done. Well done.
What's the most points you could get?
I mean, I guess if I really like you, like probably 1 billion, probably. To be honest, I
Wow.
don't think there's a limit.
So the most I could have gotten was 1 billion, and you gave me 2. Okay.
2.
You don't like me that much.
There's no love.
Good game.
Truer words never spoken. I only have 60 seconds to click
I
the
thought.
button.
Well, I was saying, is it like most?
I mean, I guess I could
most
do
to
like,
5 or
no, it's just at the end of the
like
month.
3 points is the option.
I think
I
I
mean,
should
I'd-
get a point because Dean said, like Ben said. I think that's a point in my
Wow.
direction. I'm just saying, putting it up there.
Wow. Anyways,
Ben, negative 1 point next time.
yeah,
you go.
negative 1 point.
Negative 1 point. Bad sportsmanship.
Right before the show, don't complain about points, Ben. The first thing he says is complaining about points. I'm just kidding. Mars Toys.
I was
put
hey
out,
my shit was it was skipping. I didn't hear that.
I'll
part.
think.
I
I'll
missed
think
the
about
rule
it, Ben.
section.
I'll think about it, Ben.
Okay.
Mars Toys put out 3 fantastic prank villains, aka Romero Jokers from the '66 Batman line of figures. Mars Toys prank villain A, which is the one on the screen here, 205, released in Q1 2023. Make sure to pre-order all 3 of these versions by the 27th of October. We also have figure version B, comes in at 128. Figure version C, which comes in at 128 as well. And this is the ABC there. And then we have the surfboard diorama, which comes in at 150. Seems a bit expensive for what you get, but honestly, at the prices these are for a figure that I think a lot of people have been yearning for a long time in their collection, this is pretty interesting. And this portrait, boy, this looks fucking crispy.
Yeah, people were wondering if these were recasts, which we're not going to get into, but yeah, this is a figure that people have been waiting decades for. No pun intended. So to actually finally see it coming out, I guess decades wasn't a pun. No joke. People have been waiting for this thing for a long time. That's what I meant to say. So for someone to finally step up to the plate and do it, that's not a custom figure that costs an ungodly amount of money, I think you love to see it. I think it could be better in some places, but dude, coming out of the gate with 3 different versions you could get, holy shit, that's pretty good. Not for me, but I can absolutely see why a lot of collectors are excited about this.
This release is, I'm going to say, third-party release is spectacular.
Wow.
Spectacular.
John usually hates
I was
third party.
really excited to see what John had to say.
This is spectacular. I didn't grow up with this Joker, but damn, this looks on point. Everything. The first. I love when there was a photo where he's holding the picture frame and he's obviously on the other side of the picture frame. You can see his face, but this picture here on the left, that portrait is on point. Now, this is what worries me. It's nice to see this company picking up the slack of Hot Toys, right? Because we got this tease from Hot Toys a few years back that they were going to do it, and they dropped the ball. They never did it, never revisited it. Now the question that I have is, now that they see he's coming out, the amount of love for this figure, can you see Hot Toys stepping up to the plate and now putting... Can you see Hot Toys stepping up to the plate and now doing the figure? Or even more of the line? Because you could just see the amount of interest surrounding these figures.
I wouldn't be surprised if next week we saw a Hot Toys teaser just to fuck with the community. To be
Do you think
honest.
Hot Toys could even do it much better?
That's what I was
One
thinking.
on the left,
That's what I was
one on the
thinking.
left looks like a photograph. Like,
That's what I
it
was
is
thinking,
It looks
crazy.
stunning. Holy
I felt
Jesus.
nervous. I felt nervous to put the prices in our show sheet yesterday because I was like, is it actually this cheap or am I just like reading this wrong? I had to like pull over and like look it up and like vet my own information before I tossed it in, because like, even though like John said, this isn't necessarily like my Joker, this isn't the one that I was raised on, the cost is low enough that I think I might buy this for my buddy who this like that's one of his favorite Jokers of all time. Like, it's insanely well priced for how crazy the likeness is there. It makes me want to put it in my collection because I don't think there's going to be another cheaper opportunity to do so otherwise. Like, it's crazy.
Like, this is just prototype. This is just a prototype. But at
Excellent
that
point.
price
Sure.
point, I would roll the dice on this, to be
Worth
honest.
the
At that
gamble,
price point, yeah.
Because this one could skyrocket, honestly, if it comes out close to this.
I'm just worried about the tailoring, to be honest. That's my.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, this sculpt is just incredible. Like, I don't know if it's just the photography plus the sculpt, or it's just really that good. I'm gonna ask a question here. Everyone's gonna laugh at me. Can you please go to the full-on clown ensemble? I get that they all are, but there's a mask that it comes with. Oh, sorry. Can you go back one more?
Okay, I
picture?
think I know what your question is.
Yeah,
The Bozo
so
mask?
Yeah, so was that
That's
because
where that-
obviously that's like
That's where that mask came
originated.
from.
Ledger. Okay, so I didn't realize that
Oh.
it was inspired by this
Inspired,
Joker.
yeah.
That's incredible. Didn't even know.
Thanks.
So,
Which is also really cool to get in 1/6 scale, but in a different iteration.
yeah, very very cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually most interested in this one because it's just so unique and just incredibly well done. And the three options. This is one instance where I agree with what Dean was saying. The more options, the better. Normally, I'd say way too many, but this is cool that they're given because they're all unique. It's not like just different accessories. It's like three different figures.
This one freaks me out a little bit, though. This one's a little bit nightmare fuelish. I don't think I'd want to come to my basement by myself if this thing was down there staring at me.
Oh, boy.
So, Dean, quick question though: what did you feel like could be better on this one? I just like legit question. Like, what didn't you love necessarily?
Some of the sculpts are not as strong as the other ones, I think, and
Not
something like the material or the tailoring could be a little bit better. Not by much. I think if you got these, you'd be very happy with them, especially at the price point.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I was just saying, like, it could be the fit and finish could be a little bit better.
If this comes out anywhere close to this prototype, though, this is I feel like is going to put Mars Toys like just that much more on people's radar going forward. Like, I would be looking for more of their releases down the line if it comes out as good as this. Like, I'd be very excited for them as a company overall. It's awesome.
But you got to love in the 6 scale space for there to be so much pressure on Hot Toys, right? They're getting it from a lot of different angles right now.
100%.
And the more, the better for us collectors.
Definitely.
Do you think they're stepping up to the plate, though?
It's hit and miss. It's not as consistent as I want. It's like, sometimes they give us the Wolverine and sometimes they give us the Gantry Neon Tech. It's just not, they're not wowing us consistently enough to keep getting more and more of my money, I would say.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, Saturn Toys, dynamic duo. I'm not going to say it's Mars Toys, but I mean, the overlays are basically the same. It's a Planet Toys company. Even the backdrops are very similar. The dynamic duo 245 Q2 2023. Holy Jesus. This, again, I'm not going to say it's Mars Toys because it may not be, but the market for these characters... For the Romero Joker is incredible also, but for these in particular, I mean, these are untouchable in a lot of cases, especially when Jazzing started doing the Batmobile. That kind of made the market drive up as well. And so for collectors who missed out, for collectors that have the 66 Batmobile that want a set, if these have that quote unquote Mars Toys quality, for the price, 120 odd a piece. This is a home run, to be honest, as well. I think the love for the 66 line is there. I wouldn't be shocked if Hot Toys put up something soon, but these look. I don't have the eye for these characters, so maybe these are like just terrible. But just at a quick glance, I think this looks pretty good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't really have the eye to be like, oh, this looks bad or this doesn't. I see these, and to me, it looks like if Ben had these on the shelf, I'd be like, oh shit, you got Batman and Robin from the 60s? That's cool. I wouldn't be tearing it apart, you know? And I think that's kind of the goal on a lot of collectibles is to have it on the shelf and to it be recognizable. These are long sold out if you want to get the Hot Toys versions, and they are very expensive secondary, especially with the Romero Joker coming out. I mean, you know, people are going to want to finish that line or at least make it more complete. Also, I think the Batmobile's coming out from Jazz Inc., so people are getting pretty excited about this line. So I think this is smart. Even if they're not the best versions of these characters, I think people are going to want these immediately. So I think this is cool. 240, both characters, fucking bargain.
And that's the problem. That's the problem is the price point. Because I still do think the Hot Toys ones are superior. But you can't go wrong with the price point. Because these don't look that bad. They really don't look that bad. I'm looking at the Hot Toys ones now. Even accessory wise, I don't think they came with anything. The Hot Toys one came with anything too different than what's going on here. So I think at this price point, you might as well just get into the whole line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get
PT
all
works.
three.
Yeah.
You could get all three for less than like the Batman by itself if you were looking for the Hot Toys on the
Well,
secondary.
and for that price for both of these, PT Works makes a great point. He says, with these, it would be a great option if you want them sitting in your 66 Batmobile, right? If you've paid a little less for both of them, you might be a little bit more willing to kind of press the joints a little bit and squeeze them into a vehicle if you wanted to, not necessarily be as worried, right? It's crazy because I remember seeing the Hot Toys Robin down as low as 180 here in local stores at one point, but I could never find the Batman, so I never pulled the trigger on the Robin. And then as soon as the 66 Batmobile started to kind of get hot, all of a sudden, like now this Robin goes for, locally anyways, I think I saw it recently for about $400, which blows me away because I mean I thought it was a cool figure, but I didn't think, like, there's definitely better options out there. But I couldn't just have Robin in my collection. Like that wouldn't have made sense, right? So I think this is a pretty sweet price for both of these guys, like you guys are saying. And I think I think sometimes we're most critical of our own collection when we have collector friends. The people who are not necessarily collectors that I'm friends with who come over are blown away by the likeness of either third figures that I have or Hot Toys, obviously. So I think these guys crush it. I think the Batman's a little bit stronger, especially on the close-up, and I don't love the hair sculpting on the Robin. But again, I don't think you can beat the price. So it's like, I think if you missed out and you don't want to pay those crazy aftermarket prices for the original Hot Toys ones, this is a great offering, 100%.
Yeah, these do look really good. If Hot Toys does touch a reissue or it forces them to do a Joker, I would love to see them, take a step up, do a 2.0 at the very least, but also make like the Bat Cycle and the sidecar. Like these figures would look great with something like that. Maybe you're not going to do the full blown Batmobile, which would be cool too, but like something like that, I'm like, okay, now I'm more intrigued to actually get these figures because that could be like a really awesome and unique display.
Absolutely. This was a
Copter.
pretty
Love to see it.
interesting announcement. InArt is going to be showing us the Joker final product reveal in the long time no Sore Encore event. This is going to be the week after NYCC in their Las Vegas event, which I'll be honest, I'm not even really sure what's the deal with that, but I believe it's that Saturday after NYCC. And also in the event, they're showing the Gandalf final product as well. So we still have a lot of unanswered questions about Gandalf in particular. I have a strong feeling that the pants were never addressed, and it'll also be the first time that we'll see the sculpt that they've done for the Moria staff. So that'll be interesting to see kind of what happens with those releases.
I read that as long time no sorry. Long time no sorry.
You fucking
hate to see it. I shouldn't have been drinking earlier.
You guy.
Hate to see it.
John, I have a question for you. Being that the final product reveal for these figures is right around the corner, what are your thoughts going into the next few weeks and how important they are for the hobby, as we'll finally see in hand the quality that InArt has promised?
I think the next few weeks is going to be pivotal in the figure community. Absolutely pivotal. We got Mars Toys stepping up to the plate. We got InArt. If InArt goes to that show and those figures are on point and to where people satisfies people's expectations, with what Hot Toys has been producing with these re-releases, I think it's going to be a massive blow. I do think Hot Toys may have some tricks up their sleeve still, and they may lay it on us afterwards. Fingers crossed, we'll see, because we got to get the healthy competition. But InArt needs to bring their best to that show, because for me, it's going to be, that show's going to make them or break them. If that hair is off, Gandalf doesn't look good, Joker's hair is messy, you see you got to futz with it, people are going to start saying, hey, I'm not paying those prices, which leaves the door open for Hot Toys. But I think Hot Toys is at the bottom right now, and they need to wake up.
Excellent 1 minute there, and absolutely, I think
Very nice.
with not to bring up Asmus in this conversation, but when Asmus brought the Gandalf the White to what was it, SDCC? I want to say,
Yeah, it was
Marco, was that the one you went to?
Yep, San
Comic
Diego.
Con. Boy, it looked rough. You gotta futz this thing perfectly. You gotta have, I mean, it needs to look. You need to sell it, right? And
Suitcase edition.
I'll never forget one of our old hosts, Damien, came to my house once, and he's like, yeah, I brought a bunch of figures for us to work on. And I'm like, all right, cool, like, let's go get them. And he threw his book bag on the ground and took out like six, like Mary Poppins, just 6 figures out of the book bag, and they were disheveled. And you can't have that going into this event, especially it's a private event, a very intimate event, very short event. There's only going to be, I think, 15 products in total on display. So it's going to be an interesting event, and I think John, you make some excellent points there with Mars Toys and everything else. So
It's just it's competition left, right, and center.
which is great. It's great for us as the hobbyists, and it's good for the companies too, right? Push them to the A game.